welcome to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This. I'm Juliet the daughter.
That must make me Kevin the dad, as always.
And this week, we are covering Bad Music for Bad People, or Is It Really All That Bad, by the Cramps. So, Dad, what do we need to know?
Okay, we need to know that the two mainstays of the Cramps were Lux Interior, a.k.a. Eric Lee Perkheiser, and Poison Ivy Rorschach, a.k.a. Christy Wallace. Lux was born on October 21st, 1946 in Akron, Ohio. Ivy was born on February 20th, 1953 in San Bernardino, California. They met in Sacramento, California when Lux picked up a hitchhiker who turned out to be Ivy. And it turned out both of them were enrolled in the same course at Sacramento City College, Art and Shamanism.
Oh, interesting.
They also discovered they loved the same music, obscure and strange 50s rock and roll. They decided they should form a band. As for their stage names, Lux's came from a car ad.
Lux Interior. Makes sense.
Very good. While Ivy said that hers came to her in a dream. Sorry, Batman fans.
Did they ever get in trouble with DC for copyright with the name or anything like that?
I don't think so, because poison ivy's a plant.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right.
And plants aren't smart enough to sue people.
I wasn't implying that.
Okay. They also became a couple and stayed together for 37 years.
Oh, that's impressive.
Now, on a lot of sites, it was said that they married in 1976, but in one interview I read with Lux and Ivy, they said they'd never been married. So who are you going to believe?
Maybe it's not a paper marriage. Like, they did a ceremony and they've been together for life, but they never filled out like a marriage certificate down at City Hall or anything like that.
We don't need no stinking papers. Something like that, I guess.
Yeah.
Lux and Ivy moved to Ohio in 1973, then to New York City in 75, where punk was starting to take off. While working at a record store, Lux met Brian Gregory, a.k.a. Greg Beckerleg. Brian played guitar, and very briefly, his sister Pam played drums. Miriam Linna replaced Pam, and thus was the first incarnation of the Cramps. Miriam left after a year. Nick Knox, a.k.a. Nick Stefanoff, took over the drums. They released 2 independent singles with Alex Chilton producing. In 1979, Miles Copeland, yes, Stewart's brother, signed the Cramps to his IRS label. They put out an EP, Gravest Hits, and hit the road in Europe to open for The Police, sometimes stealing the show from Sting and Company. They recorded their first LP when they got back to the States, Songs the Lord Taught Us. They were on their way until Dave Gregory just up and left, just like that.
Oh.
Along with a van full of their equipment.
Oh, shit.
Next, they recruited Kid Congo Powers, a.k.a. Brian Tristan. In 1980, the Cramps recorded their next album, Psychedelic Jungle, and then Trablage.
Oh, no.
The band got into a dispute with Miles Copeland over royalties. This prevented them from releasing anything until 1983's live Smell of Female.
What other bands did we cover that had trouble with IRS and Miles Copeland?
Oh, my God.
It was just recently, was it? Was it the Bengals?
Well, theirs was the label Faulty Products folded, and then IRS picked them up.
Got it, okay.
For their EP, okay. Kid Congo left shortly afterward. The band signed with the UK Big Beat label, and in 1986 released A Date with Elvis. With this album, the band shifted away from grade B movie horror to sexual double entendres. Sometimes just no entendres needed. Also, this was the first album in which they used a bass guitar.
Oh.
Ivy played it in the studio. They eventually hired Candy Del Mar as their bassist. They released Stay Sick in 1990, now on Enigma Records. In 1994, they made their US TV debut on Late Night with Conan O'Brien. And believe it or not, in 1995, they appeared on Beverly Hills 90210 in a Halloween episode playing 2 songs.
Oh, that kind of sounds fun.
In 2002, they put out their final album, Fiends of Dope Island. Also that year, Lux did a voiceover for the lead singer of the band, the Bird Brains, on SpongeBob SquarePants.
The Bird Brains, really?
Yep.
That's him?
Yep.
Wait. Does it say what song they performed? Why should I know this episode?
I don't know, but I'm sure it's out there on YouTube.
All right. I'll do some research on that. You keep talking.
The Cramps' last live show was in November 2006 in Tempe, Arizona. Lux died of aortic dissection on February 4th, 2009.
Oh no.
And obviously that was the end of the Cramps because you just were not going to replace Lux.
Oh no, we'll get into why later.
Leap ahead to 2022, and the Cramps may be on the verge of getting their first Billboard Top 100 hit, thanks to Tim Burton's Wednesday series dropping on Netflix. Nitwits.
Well, it's kind of turning into nitwits with the programming they're picking up now.
But more about that later. Now, they are looked on as one of the, if not the founders of psychobilly, and that term comes from the Johnny Cash song, One Piece at a Time. Like I said earlier, Lux and Ivy were the mainstays of the Cramps. There have been 21 other band members from 1976 to 2009, and you can see the chart on Wikipedia. They've been eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame since 2001, and what the hell is taking the hall so long?
Seriously. Also, I found a bit more information on the Bird Brains. The Bird Brains are a group of puppets that Potty the Pirate, not Patchy the Pirate, Potty the Pirate, hired to play in the episode Party Pooper Pants. They're a punk rock band who played the song Underwater Sun. They're very similar to Potty. The Bird Brains were portrayed by the band The Cramps. They have all the positions of the regular band, but none of them have known names. They have a lead singer, guitarist, bassist, and drummer, and they perform as a band at Patchy's house party during the Patchy segments of the episode. And their lead singer is Lux Interior, and in the Croatian dub, their name is Idioti, which translates to idiots.
Okay.
You can find that on Encyclopedia SpongeBobia.
Jeez. Okay, and just a side note, if there's ever a Cramps biopic, Noel Fielding would be perfect as Lux Interior.
Oh, please, Noel, come on, do it.
He's just got to lose the British accent and a few LBs. But other than that, perfect. Now, as for me, the Cramps were one of those bands I'd always heard of, but did not hear any of their music until 1990 when WBRU played Bikini Girls with Machine Guns.
R.I.P. WBRU.
And I thought it was great. I still have the 12-inch vinyl single, and the cover lives up to the song title exactly.
Of course it does.
Yep. Then decades passed, and a few months ago, for some reason, their name popped in my head, and I found some of their CDs at the library. I borrowed Songs the Lord Taught Us and Bad Music for Bad People. The former CD I thought was just, okay, but it was the latter that I had to have, and I got it from Amazon. And then I got the t-shirt of the album cover from Spinnakers on Cape Cod in Hyannis. I wore that for passing out candy on Halloween and got a shout out from some parent out with his kids. And it's one of Juliet's favorite t-shirts ever.
Not at first.
Anyway, the album. Fans saw it as a cash grab by IRS, who released it in 1984 after the band left the label. And on one hand, it did get rave reviews, but reviewers tempered their love of the album with their hate for how it came to be. It has 11 songs, 5 of which Lux and Ivy wrote. The others are just really obscure cover songs. The cover itself was drawn by Stephen Blickenstaff, and it is iconic.
Yeah.
Right?
For better or for worse. But now for better, because it's like when you see that cover, it's like, makes sense.
Yeah, you can Google the covers, listeners.
Yeah, we'll have it for the thumbnail of this video, so
Okay.
It's going to scare the crap out of you if you haven't seen it before.
As for the title Bad Music for Bad People, I'm pretty sure that's a takeoff on Nick Lowe's debut album, Pure Pop for Now People. Total running time of Bad Music for Bad People, just a little over 31 minutes. And that's 11 songs. As with all these songs, it's just lead and rhythm guitars and drums, no bass. But the Cramps get a lot out of just those 3 instruments. They're almost James Brown-like in their approach to playing. Establish the groove and work it into the ground.
Ready to start?
Let's.
All right. First track, Garbage Men. Listening to this song felt like the moment where, you remember that episode of Regular Show where Bender heard Mordecai and Rigby play rock music at the talent show, and he went, "Holy crap! I really like this." And I love the message. You may talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? Sorry, little boy, but you are not a punk. You want to be a punk? Look at me. I'm not just filthy. I'm a garbage man. The lead singer is sexy bad boy incarnate, and I am here for it. And since I don't know if in real life he was as skeevy as Jerry Lee Lewis from our previous episode, I am falling for him head over heels. The reference to early rock with Louie Louie and Surfin' Bird are great too. It shows they know their rock history, but it's also driving home the point of if you want to be a great rocker, you've got to get down and dirty and in the garbage. 1950s sounding rock instruments meet the voice of a tuneful punk singer. I love it, and I hope the rest of the album is just as good.
Mm-hmm. Lux starts up his truck and look out, he's coming to your town along with the band. As he says, 8 long legs and 1 big mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not picking up the garbage. Oh no, he's dropping it off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the stuff you need, 1 half hillbilly, 1 half punk. It's the good garbage, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sometimes you want the good stuff, but sometimes you find the bad stuff is just as good.
Mm.
And like you said, yeah, there are references to Louie Louie and Surfin' Bird, and the best line is the first line. You ain't no punk, you punk.
Mm-hmm.
The song is all Dwayne, Eddie, Peter Gunn twang, but the Cramps make it sound new all over again. This song is their statement of purpose. Do you understand? And my 4th edition of the Rolling Stone encyclopedia, whatever the hell they call it, I think they nailed it perfectly that Lux's voice is a cross between Gene Vincent and Fred Schneider of the B-52s.
I'll take your word for it. Next track, New Kind of Kick. Okay, this song isn't as good as the opening. This guy says he's learned everything he needs to know by the age of 9, which, knowing the American public school system, sounds about right. And now he needs some new kind of kick, the way Baby needs Mom and Sally needs Dick, which made my eyes widen that they got away with that. I bet parents are ready to burn CDs.
There we go, the double entendres, or maybe single.
Single. I kind of get tired of the singer screaming how he needs a new kind of kick over and over, because he starts out at such a high intensity that there's nowhere left for the energy to grow, and you get kind of sick of it at the end.
Well, it's almost, you can kind of look at this like maybe he's going through withdrawal and he needs that kick.
I could buy that, absolutely. Although what they did with the harmonica player getting the same kind of feedback as an electric guitar was pretty cool to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
But still, kind of a letdown after the opener, even with 2 cool moments.
Life is shot, filled with stuff. Don't know what for, I ain't had enough. And like I said, apparently, by the time he was 9, Lux had seen and done it all, and now he needs a new kind of kick, something he ain't had before, and he's gonna keep looking until he finds it.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the song, he lists off, among other things, Drano hotshot, helium, nitrous oxide. Yeah, he found his new stuff. Then I thought, oh, wait a minute, maybe that's the list of the stuff he's already had. And like I said, his singing just gets more out of control as the song progresses, like he's just totally losing it, like he needs this kick or this fix just to like calm him down.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this song. It could have crawled off Rhino's Nuggets box. And I mean crawled off.
Next track, Love Me. That opening scream is equal parts desire and pain and will make you sit up in your chair. This is giving the vibe of 2 people sneaking off outside for a quickie. It's also as if Elvis and Jerry Lee were able to be as sexually explicit as they wanted to be. No censors, nothing. The desire gets so wild that he has to move away from the microphone to scream so he doesn't blow the sound system. But just when you think the man is in charge, he gets to a point where there's nothing but silence, and he says very quietly with his voice trembling, "Love me." And you see that the act was to get her into bed, but once they're in bed, you see that he really does love her and wants her and hope it works. There's even this whimper at the end that implies he finally got there or lost. Talk about 1 minute in heaven. This song was great.
This was written by Marty Lott, also known as Jerry Lottis. He recorded it in 1960 under the moniker The Phantom.
Mm.
It was released as a single with a B-side called Whisper Your Love, the only thing Jerry Lottis ever released. And yet somehow the Cramps found it. This was one of their specialties, digging up forgotten obscure songs and giving them a second life. Compared to the Cramps version, Jerry's was subdued and his was very rockin'.
Mm-hmm.
Lux is manic on the verses. Before he sings the line, "Love Me," there's a very long pause.
But that's intentional.
Yeah, and when he does get those 2 words out of his mouth, he sounds so desperate and pleading. Like you said, it's like first it's like, yeah, it's an act, but then it's like, no, he really means it.
He's got it bad.
He does.
Next track, I Can't Hardly Stand It.
You can't?
Boy, if it wasn't for Google lyrics, I'd have no idea what he was saying. He's manipulating his voice and his vibrato to sound like an extra strength version of Jerry Lee Lewis and Elvis. I don't even know how he does it with his breathing and switching in between registers so fast. If you go on Google, this is a song about a guy whose girl left him and she's all over town and it's making him antsy. But for a first listen, this sounds like gibberish. You don't want to turn away because the performance is so fascinating, but the reaction afterwards is, wow, that was strange, instead of, wow, that was so cool, I want to listen to it again.
I'm with the latter. Every time I hear it, I'm just stunned.
Maybe I need to listen to it again.
You do.
As for Charlie Feather's original version, it kind of plods along like an exhausted horse. But I can see who the lead singer got inspired by because you hear this and his vocal performance makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was written and recorded by rockabilly musician Charlie Feathers in 1956, and his singing style was a huge influence on Lux. Feathers recorded into the 1980s and actually had 2 songs on Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2 soundtracks. Again, next to the Cramps cover, Charlie Feathers sounds sedate. Lux sings along to the twangy guitar that you will never be able to get out of your head once you've heard it. Mm-hmm. His voice is amazing, especially when he sings I Can't Hardly Stand It. And would you think that's some kind of vibrato the way he sings that, or is it just a breathing thing? I mean, it's just really hard to describe. It's one of those things you have to listen to appreciate it.
I think it's a combination of both. He has his natural vibrato and he's using whatever the hell vocal technique he's doing to like amp it up.
Yep. Anyway, Lux's gal is running around town. He can hardly stand it and it's got him all tore up. Not torn up, tore up. Just an amazing vocal performance. Like every time I hear it, I am just in awe of the man.
Mm-hmm. Next track, She Said.
Yeah, that's what she said.
He sounds like he still has cotton in his mouth from wisdom tooth surgery. I was kind of getting sick of this guy putting on voices without being able to understand what he was saying. He could have been an interesting voice actor with the manipulations he's able to do, but with singing, it's just frustrating as a first-time listener. And I can't form an opinion about the song if I don't understand what it's about. Now listen, there are plenty of songs I enjoy where I don't understand the meaning, but that's not because the guy sounds like he just came from the dentist. I was getting pretty annoyed with Lux Interior, and I was disappointed in that. I can't tell what he's saying about what she said at all, and it kind of made me mentally check out. But I do like the moment where there's this kapoing sound effect like from a Superman cartoon. That's pretty fun.
This was originally written and recorded by Hassel Atkins in 1964. His version is just as manic as the Cramps cover, and maybe more so. And yeah, I thought Lux was singing with cotton balls in his mouth on this one. And you really need to have the lyrics to help you figure out what the hell he's singing. But the story is he went out last night, woke up in the morning to find this strange woman in his bed, and all she can say is, woo, demented fun. And I swear, this is where Hanna or Barbera got the idea for their song, Eep, Op, Ork, on the Jetsons episode, A Date with Jet Screamer. Because both Hanna and Barbera got a songwriting credit with this third guy. And here's a little trivia for you. Jet Screamer was voiced by Howard Morris, who was Ernest T. Bass on the Andy Griffith Show.
Ernest T. Bass?
And he sings the song as well.
Huh.
And with your frustration earlier about not understanding what Lux is singing,
Yeah.
that's one of the rules of rock and roll that I believe it was the Stones may have come up with. I could be wrong.
God damn it, Nick.
But their thing was, doesn't matter what you're singing on the verses, just make sure people can understand the chorus because that's the catchy part.
I guess, but I still want to know what's going on.
Well, that's why people write the lyrics.
Yeah. Next track, The Goo Goo Muck. Here we go. Nice little vocal palate cleanser. I wonder if part of the reason I liked this song was because I could understand it. But I do like the Man on the Prowl vibes here because he plays the character really well. He's definitely borrowing from the classic 50s rockers, and there's a bit of Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs with looking for something nice to eat while roaming the street.
Yep.
And musically, I don't know if you heard this, it reminds me of Bo Diddley's Roadrunner with a similar sound. Can you hear it?
Yes, I can. Yep.
Now, I don't know what Goo Goo Muck means, but it's clearly referring to a wild thing, and with the wildness of a teenager comes the hormones. He's ready to devour the girls, and I don't think the girls will mind. Great song.
This was written and recorded by Ronnie Cook in 1962, and his is an R&B number, and it's kind of sedate, but it's a good song. And when I found it on YouTube, someone put together a video of clips from old silent movies that works really well with the song.
That sounds interesting.
Anyway, then the Cramps got their hands on it. And how's this for timely? The Cramps version is used in episode 4 of Wednesday on Netflix, Tim Burton's series about Wednesday Addams. She dances to the song. Jenna Ortega as Wednesday did her own choreography, and you can find it on YouTube.
Yep, she based some of it off of Bob Fosse as well with The Rich Man's Frog and Sweet Charity, which you can see.
And it was so weird because, you know, we the way that we do these episodes is it takes us 2 weeks.
Yep.
Like the first week I'll spend doing all the research, and then the second week Jules and I will just write our thoughts about the songs independently. And while I was starting to write the songs, the news broke about, you know, Google Muck just going big because of Wednesday. And I was just like, well, how's that for being timely, huh? It wasn't intentional.
No,
it was just one of
wasn't.
those things that happened.
Yeah.
Also, one Jim Shaw would loan his friend producer, publisher, and label owner Dave Bell money over the years. Bell, who was turning more towards gospel music, paid Shaw the money back by giving him the rights to Google Muck. Now, in 2021, Shaw got a call about using the song in Wednesday. He said, sure, why not? Maybe make a few dollars.
He's going to make more than that.
Yeah, it's definitely paying off for him. And it's good for him because he had gone through some hard times on and off where, like, you know, friends would give him $100 here, $200 there. So good for him.
And at the rate that if the number of streams keeps going, like I think Rolling Stone reported that it went from 2,500 streams per day to 134,000 streams per day. And if it keeps going, this might be the Cramps' first Billboard Hot 100 hit.
And, you know, maybe they'll have their Stranger Things Kate Bush moment. Where
That's what they were saying.
Yep, which would be nice, but it'll also be bittersweet, though, with Lux being gone.
Yeah.
So you kids out there, you know, go call it up on Spotify or iTunes or whatever it is you kids do.
Come on, we got to make this happen.
Yeah, we gotta.
If we could play a small part in it becoming big, then we've done our job.
Yep. Now, as for the song itself, this version is a little faster than the original, and Lux does dial it back a little vocally until the end of the song.
Yep.
The transformation is complete. He has achieved Google Muckness. Now, what exactly is a Google Muck, you may ask? What is a Google Muck? No, go ahead, ask. I'll give you an answer.
What is a Google Muck, Dad?
Thank you. I'm guessing it's a teenage vampire. I cruise through the city and I roam the street looking for something that is nice to eat. You better duck when I show up. The Google Muck. Just watch out for Buffy.
Yeah. Hold on. Okay, we've got an Urban Dictionary definition, and they cite the Cramps here. A double entendre meaning a vampire or a muff diver. I'm not going to explain what that is, folks. Famously used in a Cramps song bearing the same name.
We try to keep this PG-13.
As much as possible, unless, you know, the singer's double entendre becomes single entendre, then we kind of got no choice.
I mean, this is the band who did come out with a song called Bend Over, I'll Drive.
Yeah, I mean, we had to censor one of the song titles in our Nirvana episode so the YouTube gods wouldn't smite us, so there you go. Anyway, next track, Save It. For the singer, love is a finite resource, and if this woman wants to give him her love, he needs all of it. The bad boy vibe is back here, but he's panting and moaning and slobbering like a big hungry dog. This is where the lines blur between wanting love and wanting her for her body. Evidently, he can't help but conflate the two. The vocalizations and panting are my favorite parts, along with the guitar producing some pretty trippy vibrations. Great song.
This was written by Hargus Robbins and Mary Biggs. It was recorded by Mel Robbins in 1959. And that version is a peppy rockabilly number. The Cramps, though, slow it down and make it almost menacing. Lux's gal just messes him up, which is fine with him. But he wants her to save it all for him. And apparently she did, because at the end of the song, Lux is just out of breath. And 1 minute and 23 seconds into the song, as you pointed out, there's this weird guitar solo that starts. And it goes on for about 20 seconds. And it sounds like it's being played on one out-of-tune string. And it's just fascinating.
Next track, Human Fly. So, Dad had me listen to 96 Tears for the 96 Tears reference. It's about how these two ex-lovers are going to cry and cry, but with the Cramps, Well, there's 96 tears because the human fly has 96 eyes.
Classic.
Now hear me out.
Go ahead.
I have one crazy idea. David Cronenberg should have found a way to use this song in The Fly. That would have been hilarious. If they ever make a Fly musical, you can use this song.
Oh, God. That's out there now. Someone's going to do it.
Jess and Andrew kind of referenced that in one of their Jekyll and Hyde episodes. Anyway, I've never seen the movie, and I never plan to because the clips that I've seen look pretty gross.
I sat through it twice.
How was it?
Disturbing both times. Especially when he loses the fingernails. Oh, my God.
Oh, ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway, this song feels very dystopian, which I'm sure is intentional, with a reborn maggot using germ warfare. He doesn't exactly know how he came to be, but that's his best guess. Great guitar playing here that sounds like flying around until you get dizzy with the same cycle of notes over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Plus the buzzing of the singer that sounds like an irritating fly in your ear, which is intentional. Very well done, but I don't know if I could listen to it all the time.
This is an original by Ivy and Lux. The fly guitar throughout the song is great. I mean, I just don't know what else to call it because you hear it and it sounds like a fly.
Mm-hmm.
Lux is a human fly and he don't know why. Like Goldblum was in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, like you said, he's got 96 tears and 96 eyes, and it's a nice nod to question marks and the Mysterians' classic garage song, which is not on the Nuggets box. Why? 2 words. Alan Klein.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh. He's always ruining everything for everybody.
Yep. Anyway, Human Fly is just so messed up. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great. And I want more, please. And the Cramps will give me more. Thank you.
Next track, Drug Train. Welcome to the Drug Train. If you look out the window, you can see snow-covered mountains, and you'll spot some famous users, including Elvis, Sherlock Holmes, and Freud. Probably listed in order of quantities of drug use, since Freud did enough cocaine to kill a horse. And the music is so fun, you almost forget that you won't remember how you got here, like the conductor. The drums capture the chugging of the train, and having the background performers sound like happy tourists is a nice touch. But then things eventually descend into chaos with the vocals and shouting and clapping, making a mess, as if to hint at the sinisterness underneath. And kudos to I thought I heard kids as background singers on this. I thought I heard kids. So if they're not kids, sorry that I got that wrong. And if they are kids, kudos to the parents for letting them sing on this track. Those are cool parents. Hey kid, you want to sing on a Cramps track? Come on, I'll buy you McDonald's after.
And then they all became drug addicts.
Would you let me sing on a Cramps album if there was an audition opportunity?
Being the bad parent that I am, yeah, probably.
Yes. Just don't tell Mom.
Okay, and I swear that first line, "Hey people, all aboard the drug train," is a takeoff on James Brown's
Night Train.
Night
I
Train.
was thinking that, but
All
I didn't
aboard
know.
the night train.
Night.
And he starts listing off towns, just like Night Train does.
And listing off people.
Going to Plasterville, Anyville, and Milltown, which I had to look up
It's a
Milltown.
nickname, isn't it, for, I can't remember what.
It was a tranquilizer that was very popular back in the 50s and 60s.
Nice.
And yeah, the snow-capped mountains, insert eye roll here. I wonder what that snow is.
Hey, man, it's magic dust.
Oh, yeah. And tranquil valleys, especially in Milltown. And like you said, Elvis is on the drug train. So is Sherlock Holmes, probably looking for his 7% solution. And like you said, Freud's on there too, slipping and sliding like Little Richard. And like you said, he used the nose candy as well. And he even recommended it as a cure for morphine addiction.
Oh, wow.
What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, everything and nothing.
And the song has a nice persistent locomotion groove. My favorite lines, you put one foot up, you put another foot up, and you put another foot up. And you're on board the drug train. Where'd that third foot come from? But my question is, who's driving this thing?
I don't know.
Because eventually it's going to go off the tracks if it hasn't already.
Well, maybe also they're hallucinating so much it's not a real train.
Aw.
Sorry. Next track, TV set. This song is when obsession or hyperfixation goes too far. Either that or this guy got off the drug train and he's still hallucinating. Because think about it. He sees her on TV, hears her on the radio, sees her in the fridge, and wants her in his bed. And when he's done, he might kill her? I think you'd have to be in the mood for something sinister when you listen to this song. Like, sometimes in the mood for listening to Run for Your Life by the Beatles. Other times I'm like, nah, I could do without that today. And that's how I feel about this. But what makes it great every time is the distorted shredding of the guitar that sounds like short-circuiting, which makes you as a listener wonder, how the hell did they do that? And then that short instrumental where the notes keep ascending as the tension increases, a brief moment of brilliance. Great.
Mm-hmm. Now, remember earlier when I said the Cramps started off writing about B-horror movies in their songs?
Oh, is this one of them?
This is grade Z gore. The kind of stuff they'd show in Times Square before it got Disneyfied. Trust me on that one.
Yeah, Taxi Driver Martin Scorsese, yes.
Yep. And Lux sees his baby on the TV set. And I got a different point of view than you did, where, like, you know, he sees her on the TV set, hears her on the radio. I thought he sees her on the TV set because he did cut off her head and put it on top and uses her eyes as dials, as he says in the songs. I'm thinking, no, this happened for real.
It would also be interesting if you look at it as a follow-up after Drug Train. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Keep going, sorry.
And also, part of her is in this Frigidaire behind the mayonnaise. And he missed some of her under the chair, but that's okay. He'll sweep her under the rug.
That reminds me of the Who's Line sketch. It's like things you find in a bachelor's fridge. Hey, Colin, you want some sour milk or some mustard? No, I'll just have the girl.
Oh. This song is sick, and catchy.
It's bad music for bad people. What do you want?
That's true.
Final track, Uranium Rock. So I did some Googling. This song came out in 1984, and thinking, you know, this is a cover for this from the 60s. It would feel timely with the Cold War. Would do sound about right. Now, the song is fine, but it doesn't do anything for me. And while the Cramps give it their all for this cover, it's not my favorite on the album. There's probably a better song about getting rich quick and then blowing your money. I just gotta think of one. I'm kind of bummed that this is what closed the album when there are better songs that would have left a better vibe instead of the gradual fade out. Like, a gradual fade out from these guys? Oh, come on. We need something explosive as like a gut punch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This was written and recorded by Warren Smith in 1958. Now, back then, the demand for uranium exploded in the 1950s, no pun intended, due to the Atomic Energy Commission's demands for it. Uranium prospecting was huge. Deposits worth millions were discovered in Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, and Arizona. Lux has had it woodworking. He's got a Geiger counter, and he's looking for that one uranium rock that's going to solve all his money problems. This song is okay. I think it's the weakest song on this collection compared to what we've been through with the other 10. And I think maybe it's due to the subject matter. It is kind of dated. The uranium prospecting craze died out in 1955 or so because people realized, oh man, this is a lot of work. So it was just left to the experts to mine the uranium.
Yeah.
So
Plus also dangerous.
Yeah, and Warren Smith recorded this in 58, so he was kind of a little late to the party. His version isn't bad. Vocally, he kind of sounds a little like Carl Perkins.
Oh, interesting.
Smith was also on Sun Records when he recorded this.
Oh.
But
He and Carl probably knew each other then, right?
Yeah, possibly. And I think Poison Ivy's guitar gooses this version just a little bit. Okay. So that helps. But yeah, it was kind of like...
Rending on this? Really?
Yeah.
Just
maybe that was IRS trying to put the screws to them one last time.
What do you think they would have ended it with if they could have?
Oh God, there's so many possibilities. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe their cover of Lonesome Town. That would have been interesting.
All right, overall, I really enjoyed the Cramps.
Good.
That's a sentence I never thought I'd say as someone with a uterus, but in this context, it's true. I was expecting, the first time I'd ever heard of the Cramps was when you brought that shirt home from Spinnaker's. And based on the cover, I was expecting something more dark and twisted, like heavy metal occult kind of shit. But the fun really surprised me, pleasantly so. Why the hell aren't they more popular? I'm kind of miffed that they're not. Because they should be, damn it. But with Wednesday and with Stranger Things, who knows? So go listen to these guys. They know how to perform, and the lead singer, Lux Interior, is unlike any you've heard before, I guarantee it. Go listen to this whole album and be blown away.
God, I wish I had seen this band when they are around.
Wait, did they come to Rhode Island?
I'm sure they probably did.
Oh.
But, better late than never, I guess. And the amazing thing with this album is, a lot of sites that I went on, this is one of their highest rated albums, even though, they really didn't have a hand in it. IRS just decided, let's put this together, let's get it out there. And kudos to them for putting together a killer set.
And kudos to the artist for the artwork as well.
Oh, yeah. So if you want to be bad vicariously, this collection is highly recommended. Tons of fun, weird, wild, and dangerous. And also pick up their other greatest hits collection that came out on RCA in 1998. It picks up where Bad Music for Bad People lives off, and I am currently waiting for my copy that I found on eBay. It was supposed to arrive yesterday, but it's being held up somewhere in Massachusetts. Yes, I'm tracking it, so I'm hoping maybe tomorrow or Tuesday.
Also, I kind of want that shirt for myself now.
Well, I'm going to Spinnaker's Tuesday, so if you want, I'll get you one.
Yes, please, if they still have it there.
Size small, medium?
That's adult small.
I'll do my best to get you one.
Thanks, Dad.
If they don't have the black one that I have, do you want the yellow one that they have?
Ooh, that might be even more shocking. Sure,
Oh.
I'll take black or yellow, whatever they got.
Okay.
All right. All right, as always, thank you for listening to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe and all that jazz, because the more you do, the higher chance our video has of being seen on YouTube by a larger audience. And thank you to our loyal listeners who have stuck with us all these years.
Thank you, Peg.
Thank you, Peg. All right, if you follow me on social media, I post the episodes there. And if you are friends with my dad, email him with what episode you want to listen to, and he'll send it right to your inbox. As always, thank you for listening to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This. We'll be back next time with another album to nitpick and gripe about. Dad, I have 2 questions for you this time. Do you have anything to say before we sign off? And do you want to drop a hint as to what we're covering for our season finale next time?
I don't want to do that. I want it to be a surprise.
Okay.
No hints, so no hints.
So what do you want to say to our loyal listeners before we sign off?
I just have a question.
Sure.
If this really is bad music for bad people, does that make me a bad person?
Tune in next time to find out.